Ignorance of the law is no excuse. I think we've all heard that phrase. But what happens if you know the law and you interpret it and you act based upon your own interpretation, but it's not the way the judge reads the law? Are you still guilty of violating the law? Well, that question leads us to an actual case involving a company you may be familiar with, Tommy Hilfiger. They're the fellows that vend and sell a variety of clothing throughout the country. There was a man, his last name was Long. Mr. Long went into Tommy Hilfiger and he used his credit card to buy some clothes. When he got his credit card receipt, on the receipt were the last 4 digits of his credit card, and in addition to that was part of his credit card expiration date. It was shown as 04/ then pound. Okay. He looked at this and he said, you know, golly, that's part of the expiration date. And there exists, I don't know whether he knew this or not, but there exists an act, it's a federal law, that's called Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act, or FACTA. And this act says that all retailers transacting business in the United States cannot print out the expiration date from a credit card when they make a receipt for the credit card. Reason for this, of course, is to prevent identity theft or people getting enough information to use that credit card without authorization. Well, Mr. Long looked at this and he said, you know, I've got the first 2 digits here and I got the last digits of my credit card. You know, this might be enough for a sophisticated thief to begin using my credit card without authorization. So he consulted a lawyer. The lawyer said, hey, yeah, you know, I think we've got a case here because they weren't supposed to print any portion of that expiration date. So the case goes to court, goes to a federal district trial court. And there the judge looks at it, he hears the evidence, and he says, you know, you're right, Mr. Long, you are absolutely right. Tommy Hilfiger did break the law, no question about it, because the law provides that you're not supposed to print any portion of the expiration date on a credit card. And here we have the first part of that. We're showing here April. All right. But on the other side of it, Tommy Hilfiger jumped up and said through their lawyers, you know what, Judge, we read the law, we tried to interpret the law as best we could, and the way we viewed the law is it said should not print the expiration date. We didn't print the expiration date, we just printed part of it, just as the law allows the last 4 digits of a credit card to be used so you can identify that as your receipt if you want to return the items. Now we just had one part of only essentially 2 digits of a 6-digit expiration date, so we don't think we really did anything that terribly wrong. Well, the judge listened to these arguments, and the judge considered them and came away with a decision that said, Tommy Hilfiger, you violated the law. There's no question in my mind about that. But on the other side of the coin, you were aware of the law, you indicated a understanding of the law, at least as you read it, and you developed a policy which was attempting to comply with the law as you read the law. I don't view that as an overt or intentional violation of the law. And in this instance, because it was not an overt or intentional violation of the law, and because you were attempting to properly interpret the law, I find that you are not in violation of the law. But don't do it again. Don't do it again. And so, basically, the case went away. Well, what's the lesson we learn on this? What we learn on this is that if you are familiar with the law, familiar with a particular statute that says you have to act in a particular way, possibly as a small business person or anyone else, and you give that true and honest and candid consideration, and develop some policies in your business which is attempting to follow that law, well, if you come to court because somebody says you're technically in violation of the law, you may be able to argue with that. Will you always get the same kind of result that we saw here with Tommy Hilfiger? Not necessarily, but using good common sense and attempting to properly come forward and essentially live up to the intent of the law, you may be able to go a long way in avoiding harsh punishment. Okay, we bring you this case as we bring you cases every week so you understand how the law works so you can make the law work for you. I'm David Allen.